There's new data suggesting some Canadians may be responding to President Trump's tariffs by ditching trips to the U.S. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Maine saw a 28% decline in Canadian visitors between February and June. Fox's Kaylee Schuyler joins us live from Old Orchard Beach in Maine. And Kaylee, what are locals telling you there?
Hi, Christine. So I'm told that Canadians have been vacationing here for decades. In fact, the Maine State Chamber of Commerce says they usually make up around 30 to 40% of revenue for local businesses. But now some say they're taking a hit, reporting up to a 30% loss in sales over the summer.
Canadians are hurt. Canadians are angry. We're going to choose to not go on vacation in Florida or Old Orchard Beach.
That was back in March when then Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called President Trump's tariffs dumb. Now, 6 months later, it seems like some Canadians agreed and decided to stay away from the U.S. this spring and summer.
Tourism, I'd say, is still down mostly from Quebec, and definitely the spring was way down, April, May, June, but also we had bad weather. But still, even when the weather's been good, July, August, you go by the hotels, there's still vacancy.
Blake Laughlin owns Corner Surf Company in Old Orchard Beach.
Because we have all Canadians, and now we have none.
Just a few weeks ago, I was in Canada reporting on the impacts of U.S. tariffs, and one Canadian official brought up how he ditched his annual trip to Maine.
For 2 weeks for each, most of the last 10 years, COVID aside, we're going to Italy. I can't be seen in Maine.
Patrick Woodcock, president and CEO of the Maine State Chamber of Commerce, sent me a statement on the impact, saying in part, quote, "This drop has had a tangible impact on local businesses from Lubec to Old Orchard Beach, where some report sales down 15% to 30%. While external geopolitical factors may be influencing this trend, our focus remains on supporting Maine businesses and reinforcing the cross-border relationships that have long fueled regional economic success." Well, President Trump continues to say that Canada needs to pay their part, but recently Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney removed retaliatory tariffs on most American products, and those here are hoping that's a step in the right direction to toning down the trade tensions between the U.S. and Canada.
The amount of damage that Trump has done and is doing to the U.S. economy is incalculable, and his crazy, insane tariffs are just one part of it. And of course, all of this is coming off the heels of their new policy, which we covered in another video, of the social media checkpoints now at immigration, where they're going to ask you for your social media accounts, your email addresses, information about your family, etc. If you're a visitor wanting to come into the U.S., they're actually going to look you up online and check your socials. I mean, this is not a joke. This is now Trump policy that they've put out. I also want to show you guys this chart. It is not just Canada that is being affected by the Trump administration and all of his crazy policies. Look at this. All of these countries listed here, European countries, also see a massive, steep drop in traveling plans to the U.S. We have Austria, Denmark, Germany, Iceland, Norway, Spain, Sweden, the U.K. Notice where on these charts where the drop begins very, very sharply, right at the beginning of 2025, when Trump was sworn into office. It's like a very, very clear sign what our allies and friends around the world think about us. Mike, what do you make of the steep drop that we're seeing from Canadian tourism, being our close ally friend just next door, to this crazy drop that we've seen even from European countries, our closest allies? What do you make of tourism just absolutely cratering under the Trump administration?
Obviously, it's pretty concerning. I have some international friends, all of whom have said, I'm never coming to the United States. I've even had some who were actively planning on trying to come here in 2026, and now they've told me I'm not doing that. So I can't say I blame them because, the U.S. is kind of going through it right now, to put it mildly. But yeah, I think all of these businesses being affected is clearly bad for business. I think that it's something that may not be as apparent upfront in the moment, but over time, it will definitely take effect because tourism is an entire industry. So when you don't have tourists coming and being a part of that industry, then all the businesses that rely on said tourists, they begin going under. And as we saw in that report, I think it mentioned that it was like as high as 28%, I believe, in these main businesses are taking hits. That's not something to scoff at. That's definitely a concern. And if that's that, and that's just one state out of all 50. Now, granted, I don't know how many international people come and, do tourist stuff in like Kansas or something like that, but in general, multiple states are, I'm sure, feeling the pain over and over. And then on top of that, you've also got things like where after Charlie Kirk's death, the Deputy Secretary of State just wrote out a tweet on X calling for people to snitch and report internationals who say things negative about Charlie Kirk. And, they're calling for people to pretty much say, oh, if you're a foreigner and you're coming here just to visit, not even to stay, not even to become a citizen or anything like that, but if you're just coming to visit and you make fun of Charlie Kirk's death, or you don't think it's as serious as Donald Trump does, whatever the case, that's something that the Deputy Secretary of State said, I will look into this. We will look at these people, report them to us. So not only is that a form of censorship and whatnot, and directly against the First Amendment, but this is also a very targeted, specific thing against immigrants, against international people who want to come here, who want to just experience America, whether they want to stay here or not. And we're seeing less and less and less of that. And then you've also got this thing with these national parks where Trump has pretty much changed the rules on their free entry days, going so far as to remove Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth from being free entry days and to add his own birthday as a free entry day, petty things like that. But in terms of internationals, Trump has also changed the policy so that the free days only apply to U.S. citizens. So now if you're coming here to visit and you want to check out our national parks, oops, guess what? You have to pay now. It's just like from the top all the way down to the lowest, tiniest little thing. There's more than one thing kind of being a problem here. There's more than one hole in the boat, so to speak. So I think the tourist industry, in my opinion, is going to suffer a death of 1,000 cuts.
I totally agree. I mean, think of all the airliner jobs, think of all the hotel jobs, think of all the restaurant jobs, all of these industries that some you might not even think are tied to tourism, absolutely feeling the heat just from this tourism thing alone, as if the U.S. job market wasn't already under enough stress with AI just destroying most white-collar jobs. And just the consolidation of corporations doing their thing, monopolizing, just eating each other, all these layoffs that we've been seeing by the tens of thousands. We saw that huge list of layoffs, not too long ago, like major companies, UPS, Amazon, Microsoft, like Google, like the bread and butter American companies just laying off people by the droves. And, people are now working like 2 to 3 jobs to be able to make rent. And no one can afford a house anymore. Like that part of the American dream is long gone. We have people now using buy now, pay later programs to pay for their groceries. Like this is unheard of. We have never been in this type of territory before in U.S. history where people are having to use these programs now. Like we are sitting at the edge, what it seems to be a second Great Depression. Like we are right on the cusp. And no one seems to be, making a fuss about it. It's like people are quietly in despair over these things. The only thing that's positive that we do see is the stock market. That's the only economic indicator that we see that is actually positive. But that's not a good thing. It's actually not a good thing when that is the only indicator that's up and everything else is down. Wages are down. Jobs are down. inflation is up. That's another thing that's up. That's a negative. Like, you don't want these things the way that they are, and there just doesn't seem to be any kind of solution or chatter about any kind of solution from this administration. The only thing that he's talked about is giving people a $2,000 stimulus check sometime next year. A one-time check of $2,000, like that's going to fix the economy. Are you kidding me? The only other thing that we've heard is these baby accounts that we covered in our one of our other videos, where he wants to see new children born with like $1,000 invested in the stock market, only for you to have to wait till you're 65 to pull the money out without having to pay any penalties or taxes or fees. These are not even Band-Aids. I wouldn't even call these Band-Aids. These are pathetic attempts to try to cover up a very deeply broken system, and that's the economy that we're witnessing right now.